Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host Davion, and I'm joined by Lillian,
What's up?
Kaden, and Oronde.
What's poppin'?
And today we are back talking about some NFL, but today in particular we're going to talk about the NFL playoff picture through Week 14. So first off, how's everybody doing?
Doing great, I guess. Watching
We
football.
living.
Surprise games. Fantasy football is up.
How's everybody doing in fantasy?
I don't even want to talk about fantasy.
Surprised that Davion is even remotely getting a chance to the playoffs right now.
But no, hey, Kaden, I have one. I'm gonna get on this tangent real quick because I'm proud of myself. Kaden, in that other league, I have won five straight, and I knocked off everybody in the past 5 weeks, and I slipped into the playoffs in that last position. Thank you. Your decline has risen me to the top. Well, anyway, let's get started by talking about the AFC. Let's start with the AFC. So right now, in the rankings, AFC is led by the Baltimore Ravens with the number one seed, first round draft pick or first round bye. Number two, Miami Dolphins. Number three, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number four, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number five, the Cleveland Browns. Number six, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number seven, Indianapolis. Ooh, that's a hard one. Colts. Number 8, Texans. Number 9, Broncos. Number 10, Bengals. Number 11 are the Bills. So, looking at the AFC, a couple different things happened this week. Ravens barely won their game. Dolphins lost. Chiefs lost. And I'm pretty sure Jacksonville lost. Did Jacksonville lose this week?
Jacksonville lost to.
Yes, and Jacksonville lost as well. So we're looking at the AFC. Tell me who's the strongest team in the AFC right now?
Strongest team?
Is it Baltimore?
I think it's Baltimore.
I don't think it's Baltimore.
Ooh.
Who do you think it is? Oronde?
Still have to give it to Miami. Because
Interesting.
why are they struggling to the Colts? Don't get me wrong, the Colts are known for giving surprise wins the past couple seasons, but still.
I think the trick is
not
that
the
the
Colts,
Colts
the
are actually
Rams.
decent.
Are they?
I mean, they're 7-6. It's not like
That
they're
don't mean
bad.
shit. The Cowboys are 10-3, and they've won mostly against frauds.
Oh boy.
Uh, they have a couple good wins in there.
Not a chance.
Yeah. No.
Especially with the Chiefs looking human.
Chiefs looking. You mean the wide receiver core being the worst in the league?
Rashid Rice, the
Yeah, Rashid
underrated
Rice.
GOAT from this season. I may or may not have called it early on because of my fantasy team having to draft him.
So I will 100% agree. I think the Chiefs look scarily human. I think their receiving core is awful. I think Miami needs to wake up and scheme something different. Other than Tyreek Hill being the number one and the sole provider of offensive play, and I think we saw that. Like you have Jalen Waddle, who before Tyreek got there was a number one receiver. He realistically could go to the Chiefs and be their number one receiver, but you don't scheme for him at all. That's on Mike McDaniels, in my opinion. He has to be better. I know it's only his second year as a head coach, but he has to be better in that situation. And I think he did say that. He said that, listen, we are young. We will grow and learn through this. And so I think that's big ups to him. But in my opinion, I mean, looking at the AFC, there's just a lot. There's a lot there. You have the Broncos, who have won, I think, 6 out of the last 7, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. You have the Bengals, who aren't laying down just because Joe Burrow's gone. You have the Bills still being the Bills. Granted, inconsistent, but they still have a very strong, powerful offense, and their defense is very serviceable as well. You have the Texans, who aren't laying down, and they're still trying to compete.
Though the Texans might be on a decline because they don't have both their
Yeah.
wide receivers.
Yeah,
And
and Cedar's
definitely-
out with a concussion.
That'll definitely hinder their progress.
So I think they'll drop. I think the Colts, in my opinion, can drop. I think 7, 6, and 5 Browns, Steelers, and the Colts, they are all at liability to lose to get out. I think that's not one of that's probably one of the closest things that could happen. Because you look at this team of these teams, and I think that number one seed in the AFC also is still under construction. I don't think it's the Ravens to have. They have to fight for it. And whatever that looks like, who does Baltimore play out with?
I know they have the Rams next week.
Ooh, wow. They actually have I just glanced at their final. Well, their final four is drastically different. They have the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. They had the Rams last week.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
They have the Jaguars. They have the 49ers. They have the Dolphins and the Steelers.
Oh, good luck.
So, realistically, like, I'm not going to say they will lose all or lose 3 games, but they realistically could lose at least 3 games. At least. They could lose out.
Yeah.
Do I think that will happen? Probably not. They'll probably end up stealing 2 of these games. Maybe Jacksonville and maybe Pittsburgh. But I think, Rams or 49ers and the Dolphins are going to be competitive teams. So we're sitting here saying that the Chiefs are looking very human. I think the Broncos are 1 game behind of the Chiefs right now.
Something
and
like that.
Yeah, right. And then the Chiefs have. Let's see, because we're getting so close to the end of the season, so a lot of these games are going to start mattering. The Chiefs have the Patriots this week. They have the Raiders the following week, the Bengals, and then the Chargers to end it off. So realistically, I think you can submit 2 wins for them on this. But they have to at least. I think they have to win 3 out of the last. They have to win at least 3 other games to hold on to that spot. So, I mean, you're looking at it like that number 1 spot belongs to so many teams. Like Miami. I mean, we just talked about it. Miami has the Ravens at least. Oh wow! Miami has the Jets this week, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. Oh, we're getting some competitive. We're getting some competitive football towards the end, huh? So, I mean, you're looking at all these teams, and you didn't. I didn't expect all these guys to really, all these players to have as much talent or as many competitive games towards the end of the season. But there it is. There it is. So. Gonna transition a little bit. Who's gonna make? Who do we think is your? What's your Super Bowl pick right now in the AFC? Oh,
I still ride with the Dolphins for my AFC pick.
bro, what?
The Browns?
That's reasonable. That's not a bad choice.
I don't
Flacco
think
with
Joe
the
Flacco keeps playing
top
like
3
this all the way
defense.
to the Super Bowl.
Flacco with the top 3 defense.
You want to bet it?
Or his favorite target, David Njoku. By the way, Flacco has almost as many touchdowns on a season as Kenny Pickett.
Wow, that's a joke. Do you want to bet it, Kaden? Hey, just want to make sure if it's there, you want some smoke. It's always open. Bank's always open for me.
I mean, I think it's going to be the Ravens. I think they stick out these last 4 games and get themselves a bye also, which will be huge.
Speaking of AFC teams, where do you think Herbert tries to leave LA?
I mean, if he wants to win football games, he should.
Because despite having a crappy team, he is still putting up a really nice season.
I mean, his season's over now, so.
Yeah.
Well,
I think there's no way.
Put up a really good season.
I think there's no way that he leaves. It's just we haven't seen that from quarterbacks at all recently, like being able to even leave, even if they wanted to. We just haven't seen them be request that trade. And he just got paid, so I doubt that'll even happen. So my thing is, if that does happen, I think the Saints should call. Let's go not.
Dude, the Saints would sign. You would think they sign Tom Brady if he said he'd play.
No.
Well, they were supposed to,
Actually,
but
I
some
don't want.
stuff
I don't want
happened.
that kid. I want. Yeah, that did. Yeah, don't talk about it. Don't out loud anyway. I want. I want. I definitely want Jaden Daniels for the Saints. Anyway, so transition to the NFC. Right now, they're being led by the San Francisco 49ers, who is my Super Bowl pick, who has been my Super Bowl pick since day one, and who I still think will probably still win it. So you got the 49ers at first place, um, Dallas Cowboys at second, Lions at third, Buccaneers at fourth in the NFC South. Fifth, Eagles. Sixth, Vikings. Seventh, Packers. Eighth, you have the Rams. Ninth, Seahawks. 10th, Falcons. 11th, Saints. So looking at the NFC, what are we feeling about? Pros and cons.
NFC is the conference to beat this year.
Yeah.
They're without a doubt the conference to beat this year. Now, there's the how do I want to say this? Is one division a little stronger than the rest of them? Yes,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of good teams regardless.
I mean, to be honest, I think the AFC is overall stronger, but the NFC is just really top heavy.
Yeah. I agree. Here. So when we look at it, why is it only the 49ers? Why isn't the Cowboys' name in the mix? Why isn't the Eagles' name in the mix?
I mean, the Cowboys can, but the Eagles are frauds.
Mm.
The Cowboys have the ability to handle a shootout, but the Eagles cannot, and it's evident when they face top 10 defenses.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He started the game off with like a 75-yard rush.
And Brandon Ayuk blocking downfield as well.
Yo, he's
Yeah, the Niners got their lick back. They smoked that Eagles pack.
Yeah.
so
I mean-
when you look at it, let's go to the bottom of it. Let's look at the teams that are in the hunt. So when you look at the wild card round, we have the Green Bay Packers right now. Right, they would play Dallas Cowboys, the Vikings, who I think are going to trickle out of the playoffs, in my opinion. Their quarterback play after scoring 3 points,
Winning that game was insane.
winning the game by 3
That
points.
game
Who they play
was
again?
so the Raiders. That game was
yeah,
so poorly but so entertaining at the same time because you're just like, who is going to get in field goal range? Oh, they missed one.
Two offensive powerhouses going at each other.
Bro, do you know how pissed off I would be if I paid money to go to that game? Like
I don't
that's
think
just
that many people were paying good money to watch the Vikings play the Raiders anyways.
I wouldn't even want to take my family out on the day watching that.
I'd be
But-
embarrassed if I was going with somebody to their first football game and that's what they saw.
Imagine if that was the game that would be played in Germany or London.
Oh my Europe
goodness.
would never have American football in it again.
Oh, they'd see it be similar to a soccer game.
You're sick. So when you look at the Packers, so which one of these teams, Packers, Vikings, Eagles? Well, I think the Eagles are going to automatically stay. Packers and Vikings are the only teams that are up for debate right now, in my opinion. I think the Buccaneers or the
What if
Falcons
the
will
Lions
win
sneak in?
the NFC South. Huh?
What if the Lions sneak in?
The Lions.
I mean, I don't think it'd really be sneaking in if
I mean,
we won
not.
everything.
I'm sorry, my brain.
Oh,
was
to
thinking
number
of the
one?
Lions losing. The Bears. I meant the Bears.
Oh, no.
The Bears are a long ways away from that.
Yeah, I doubt that'll
I
happen.
mean, but they beat Detroit. They have a
They did
decent
beat
shot at
Detroit.
winning the rest of their games.
Who they play? The Bears?
Yeah, what's the rest of their schedule?
So the
They
Bears
have
have the
Browns,
Browns,
Falcons, Cardinals, and Packers
Cardinals.
left.
Ooh.
That's
And
two
what's
wins
their
in a
record?
row. They're 5-8 right now.
Oh no, I
They
think they're
they'd need a win out to make it, and they probably lose to the Browns and the Falcons at least, or the Packers.
I think the Vikings with that quarterback play, they're gone. I definitely. Oh well, looking at it, I think the Rams and the Seahawks slip into that 7 and 6 position. But the Rams got some comp, don't they?
The Rams need to figure out how to play consistent offense before they
Yeah, they do.
can make the
Oh,
playoffs.
they don't really have much comp. They have the Commanders, the Saints, um, the Giants, and then they have the 49ers in the last game of the season, which the 49ers will probably rest half of their team.
That's true.
So, I mean,
Rams
I
definitely just
mean,
need.
they'd probably
Honestly,
still
I
win
think the
that
only
with their
NFC
second
North team.
stringers with the amount of depth they have.
literally,
Well,
well,
that's true. I think the Lions are going to end up being the only NFC North team that actually make it. The Packers. Oh, the Packers definitely could. I just think that they have too much comp compared to the teams on the outside.
so we all agree that the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFC, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
NFL.
Yeah, NFL.
Is that debatable
yeah.
at all?
No, it's not debatable.
Hey,
Non-negotiable.
I'm all for it. So, okay, we're gonna talk about two teams real quick. The Dallas Cowboys, the Detroit Lions. We have two residential fans in there, so we're divide and conquer. So, Kaden, Cowboys. What are your expectations for the postseason? Good about it.
Wait, question. Why is McCarthy's job on the line, but he's getting carried by high-end talent right now? There shouldn't be a question of his job security.
What? Go ahead. I'll let you have it. You're a Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think they have Gilmore for another year as well, and he bullied AJ Brown this week.
That was it. I think
He's getting old, but he just bullied AJ Brown after Brown was talking smack. He's
So
he's still
what?
got a
So
good 2 years in him.
hey, but you look at it. Here's the thing, and I understand where Jerry's coming from. It's crazy for me to say that. I know that. But with Jerry Jones, he's a 3 year. If you don't get it done in 3 years, you're gone. Type owner, right? And this is year 3 for McCarthy or 4, something like that. So it's like I understand his. I personally wouldn't fire him. Well, actually, I would fire him for personally because I don't think he's a good head coach. And secondly, because I just think when you look at it, the NFL is a hard sport to coach. It's a hard game. It's hard for everything to align for you to get to the pinnacle. We've seen the Chiefs do it because there's greatness over there. Don't get me wrong, Dak Prescott has played one of the best careers that he's played to date, correct? And so when you look at this team, when you look at the Cowboys, it's what Cowboys team will show up on the day of. That is the biggest question mark. That is the biggest what will happen. Not the fact of McCarthy keeping his job. It's who's going to show up when it's time to actually play competitive. The real deal. Personally, that's why I think his job is on the line because you don't know what team's going to show up. Week in and week out, you never know what team's going to show up when it comes to Dallas Cowboys. Fair trade for me. So when you look, okay, now moving up to the Lions. When you look at the Lions, what's the expectation there?
I mean, it's especially with the Vikings offense falling apart completely. 2 wins at least over the last 4 because we play them twice. Realistically, as you know, a team that wants to be in the playoffs, win at least 3 because you get the Broncos and the Cowboys as well. So really need to beat the Broncos next week.
Mhm.
That's the biggest game. And then, you know, you get the Vikings. That should be a win. I think we lose in Dallas. I'd love for us to, pull off an upset, but then we finish back at home against the Vikings. So it should be, for a playoff team, 3 wins and finishing, what's that, 12-5?
Yeah, 12-5.
Even though we have struggled the past few weeks.
It's going to come down to the thinnest of margins to see who gets those prime spots in it and the playoffs. And listen, I'm one off for it. I think it'll be the San Francisco 49ers playing against whomever, and I think the Niners will win it all this season. I think they deserve it. They've been one of the better teams in the league for the past 3-4 seasons, and I think now is the time for them to go home and punch it in. Because I don't know if...
Shit, after the playoff loss last year when all the Niners players were talking about, if we had a quarterback, we could have won it all. I think that this season they're essentially proving that.
And I think those 3 losses, like mid season, were just the losses that you wanted to get out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and
teams are gonna
those also losses without
lose.
their best players.
Absolutely, teams are gonna lose. You know that's gonna happen. It's just the way that you adjust after that, and I think they have adjusted to perfection. And now we're watching some good football. And so, any final thoughts we have on the playoff picture or anything about the NFL?
I think I rock with Kaden's idea of the Browns causing havoc.
You want
It
some
would be
smoke from
funny.
that?
That's for sure.
I'm not gonna take your money.
Good joke. Take my money. I got a hot 5 ready for you. Hot 5. Well, thank y'all for joining. Let us know how y'all feel about these teams right now. Let us know how you feel about the playoff picture. And I'm excited to see where that goes to. Look for one of these videos for the next 4 weeks. For the next 4 weeks, we'll be talking about the playoff picture every single week. So come back next week, listen to us complain and rant about our teams not doing good. At least mine, anyway. But yes, I have been your host, Davion. That's been Oronde, Lillian, and Kaden, and this has been the post game. Peace.